Om Shri Sai Ram. Good evening. Welcome to our next session number 4 of the Atma Chalisa Revisited. So we are getting into now chapter number 24. And the last topic we discussed yesterday was Guru Deva, the inner guru, and how the quest for us is to experience that source of intuition, that source of wisdom within us, and how the external guru hands over us to the inner guru, and actually it is the same guru which from the form becomes formless and starts to guide us from within, because it takes time for us to learn the inner language, to learn the language which comes in through silence, through meditation, through intuitions. And as we keep acting on our intuitions, as we start beginning to step into a world of action coming from this inner promptings, this capability in us starts to grow, and soon we start to trust this voice within, this promptings within, this intuition within, far more than what is coming to us from the external senses, because we have already said that the external senses, the 5 senses that we have used to view and experience the external world, actually creates an illusion for us, because all these 5 senses are actually not in our control, because each of the senses has their own preferences, likes and dislikes. And because of our likes and dislikes, actually we view things as are comfortable to us, as we actually prefer them, and therefore we keep creating a world of Maya or a projection, and we create the world how we perceive it. And our perception is based on all those factors we've talked about, which bring in our conditioning and judgment. So actually we don't even know how badly we get trapped, and especially when the mind gets agitated, it starts to create its own story, and we are so convinced about that story, and we get so caught up in that story that we believe that's true, and we believe that the whole world, including the guru, is ganging against us, and we start to get into this whole idea. We start to get convinced that everything is against us. So nothing actually exists other than a reflection, a reaction, a resound of our inner feelings. So all the time we are actually battling with our own selves. All the time we are actually projecting our own selves, in the universe, and it keeps coming back to us in waves. So therefore, what we receive, what we get, is what we are projecting. Because, as we said, there is no other, and consciousness is just a mirroring effect. It's just a reflection of what's happening inside of us. So whenever we feel anything inside, that's coming to us from the outside, remember the source of that lies inside of us and not in anybody else. And the minute we are able to perceive it, which is what we call as the light of awareness, as long as we are able to put awareness to that experience of getting agitated or looking at the world from our limited body, mind, and the ego combination, then we keep getting caught up in this world. But as soon as the awareness expands and we move from the mind into the heart center, and we allow the mind to be as it is, and we do not listen to its prompting, and we start listening to the promptings of the inner Guru Deva, who is comfortably settled and residing in our heart, then the real journey starts. And as we keep listening and as we keep walking the path that the inner guru shows us, as we start trusting these instincts, as we start trusting this intuition that's coming to us, we start to move towards the path, the inner journey, the path less traveled, the path where the way is not known, and yet with every step, the next step is illumined. And that is the mystical journey which Rumi talks about, which all the masters talk about, which all of us must take, and all of us are already in this journey because that is why we are gathered here together. So we step into day 24 or chapter 24 of the Atma Chalisa Parayanam. And today we are talking about the next thing that happens to us, which is detachment or vairagya. Because all these experiences, when the understanding comes to us, when the reality hits us that the whole world is a mithya, is an illusion, that this jagat, this world is an illusion, and it is being projected by us continuously 24/7, as we operate out of these five senses, as we engage in the external world, then the, the reality that's coming back to us is actually the unreal, asatyo, asato ma sadgamaya. So this asat, this is actually coming from our five senses. So therefore, what is it that we should do at this point of time when the reaction is coming to us? Then the masters have said that that is the time we need to withdraw. We need to disengage. These five senses which are engaged in the external world need to disengage. What does disengaging mean? That the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, and our hands, they come in control. And when do they come in control? When we go into silence, when we meditate, when we still ourselves. That is when all these agitations that are happening, all this inner chaos, conflict, the mind is shrieking. But why? Because all that can only be controlled inside of us, and the best way is meditation. That's why we all get together and we are practicing to go deeper and deeper so that we can start experiencing the stillness. Not the stillness of ecstasy of any particular feeling, just the silence, where actually there is no feeling other than just being in this blankness, in this hollowness, which has no shades, which has no colors, which has no fragrance, which has no feelings. Because if a feeling is coming, then that means it is still getting vitiated. It is not what it is. It is just emptiness. And this withdrawal, this silence gets us into this feeling of detachment. You detach from all that these five senses consume and enjoy. And when we shut these senses, then in that silence, when they are no longer engaged, remember those moments that after every session of ours, when we meditate, we go into another world. We start experiencing this energetic presence inside of us. And there is something that starts to move. And this energy starts to be experienced. Where is this energy coming from? It is not coming from outside of us. It has always been inside of us. We have never ever recognized this energy. We have not recognized this life force which is actually pulsating inside of us, waiting for us to pay attention to it. We are so busy in reacting in this world. We are so busy in all the things that are external, that the internally, the truth which is within us, which is who we truly are, never gets its attention and due. So therefore, we need to withdraw. We need to detach from the world. We need to detach from all that we feel attached to, all that our five senses like. which means that what our eyes see and what our eyes like and get attached to, all those we have to get away from. All that this tongue likes, the tasty foods, we need to go and let that go. All that fragrances that attract us, we get away from that. All the gossip and slander that we like to hear, and all the silly jokes that we keep cracking, we have distaste. That's why satsanga is important. The company matters. What is the company telling you? And our ear is only for the experiences of higher consciousness. We only want to keep the company of good people, people who are speaking about the truth, and we want to travel on that. And everything else we must shun, we must walk away from it, because we have to have utter distaste for it. And all the things that our hands and feet are used to doing, which does not take us closer to the truth, we actually move away from there. In fact, we are, staying where we are. We hardly step out of home. It's rare occasions where we step out, because when you are deep within yourself, you are actually traveling miles and miles. You're seeing all beautiful places. You are hearing all sacred sounds. You are experiencing those amazing fragrances, but they emanate from within us. And what is inside of us, the beauty and the joy and the fragrance of that cannot be compared to what is on the outside. And that can only be experienced by those who withdraw and who detach from these worldly attachments. So the five senses make us attached. We attach to our family, our homes, our comforts, our TV serials and programs, and all the other things that we get attached to. And the way to detach is to disengage these five senses. So engagement and disengagement. Engagement with the five senses, disengagement is also through the five senses. And as you start detaching, and this detachment will come when you will have a strong distaste for the world outside, when you have had enough of the external world, when you have had enough of the pleasures of the world, when you have had enough of everything, is only then can you really withdraw. Then you yearn for satsanga, then you yearn for good company, then you yearn for meditation, then you yearn for silence. That is when we truly start to make the journey towards experiencing the self. As long as we are engaged in the outer banter, in outer relationships, our relationships and our attachments just don't leave us, right? When we are young, it is our attachments to our spouse, we run after them. Afterwards, it is after our children, and then it is then at the turn of our grandchildren. We just do not let go. And then there are all these ceremonies and marriages, and we're just caught in an endless cycle. We're never happy anywhere. We want to be in two worlds, and we're just caught up. And life clearly slips away from us because we are so attached to the world and our relationships. And for that, and knowing fully well that we've come alone and we're going to go alone, nobody is going to even walk a single inch with us, but yet we are so caught up in our attachments. And so the wise ones have said that detachment, which is what Shankaracharya ji said when he said satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam. This nirmoha, this detachment has to go. And this detachment brings us to the next chapter, which is called Viveka. Viveka, or discrimination or discernment. That once we disengage and detach is when this higher wisdom inside of us gets awakened. The inner Guru, the Guru Deva, starts to communicate to us. And we suddenly start experiencing a fountain of knowledge which is within us. And as we start relying on this, it starts to give us more and more because it has always been there. We have not been looking at it, we have not been concentrating on it, we have not been focusing on it, we have not recognizing it and its power. And as we withdraw, this energy starts to rise. And we start gaining control over our senses. We start becoming more silent. And yet, in this silence, something starts to get revealed to us. And we start to now, before acting, before blurting things out, without controlling our senses when we speak instantly, when somebody is telling you something and you instantly want to speak, and there is something tearing in you wanting to say, please listen to me, please listen to me, remember that's coming from your ego. Just control yourself, bite your tongue, bite your cheeks, pinch your hands, whatever you want to, don't speak. No matter how right you think you are. Control yourself. Stop. Freeze. Pause. Go within. Go silent. And in that silence, there is never a need to speak. In this silence, all the answers come to us. In this silence, all that we need to see, all that we need to be shown, is all shown and is seen. All that we need to recognize, we can recognize. Because what we have to develop within is the faculty of inner language. And that inner language comes to us as discrimination or discernment. We cannot be kiddish, always trying to keep talking, keep speaking, keep trying to prove ourselves right. Enough of proving ourselves right. Enough of trying to, say that I have a viewpoint. Let that all go because it is coming from the mind. Because what it releases, this silence, this self-control, this ability to stop ourselves from making a fool of ourselves, it gives rise to something far more powerful, and which is what we need to reclaim, which is what is waiting that we recognize it. It's far more intelligent, it's far more powerful than what our mind is chattering, and what our mind wants to say. Our mind is very poor in intellect. And we cannot experience the other intellect, if we don't silence ourselves, if we don't control ourselves. So therefore, that detachment is so important for the discrimination. So vairagya feeds into viveka. And therefore we say that viveka and vairagya are the twins on this journey towards self-realization, towards experiencing the self. And they, at one point of time, they feed on each other. Viveka brings vairagya, vairagya brings viveka. So detachment brings discernment, and discernment brings detachment. The more you become detached, the more discernment happens. And the more discernment happens, more detachment starts going. And both of them then help us to speed up, to progress rapidly on this journey of the self. So, but if you keep engaging with the world outside, you are scattering your energies, and it doesn't help you to experience the power of the soul, the power of the self, and the energetic presence that is within us. And this whole life, as we start experiencing this inner connection, as we start experiencing this wisdom that starts to speak to us directly, without an intermediary, without any middle person, then we start seeing things, there is a certain sense of joy that starts coming in. We start becoming much lighter because the heaviness is coming from the senses and the attachment of the involvement of the ego. Because ego makes everything heavy. Ego makes it personal. Ego makes it that we need to defend ourselves. Ego makes it that, something wrong is being done to us. Ego is, which is asking the why and which is questioning everything. But when you step beyond it, suddenly you actually start laughing at your frailties, at how we have been trapped in our mind. And we start to see life as a game. Because actually it is a game. Tell me, game, what is a game? Game is, which is played for entertainment. Game is where there are no stakes involved. Because you know that a game is for a particular duration. At the end of the game, at the end of the time, the game will be over. So isn't that same for our lives? The only thing is we do not know when the game is going to get over. What is our stake? What is the stake that a human body has? Knowing fully well that this body is going to go away. What is it at stake? Relationships. But if we have successfully negotiated this life and we've lived a life, all those people who are around us are also living their lives. Do you think that your wife or your husband or your partner or your children or your parents, are they breathing because of you? Are they living because of you? They are all living through that one source of consciousness which is interacting with them. So what is this dependency? You think wealth is a dependency? You think physical dependency is there? You think it is love? What kind of a love are we talking about, which is based on body attachments? Where is this fear coming from? Where is this insecurity coming from? There is actually nothing. We have all created this imaginary relationships and these imaginary dependencies. Actually, the dependency is not to anything, because nothing belongs to us. Everything is going to go away from us. Everything that we have is not ours. What is ours today belonged to somebody yesterday, will belong to somebody tomorrow, because we cannot carry this with us. Therefore, what is ours today is going to belong to somebody else tomorrow. The house that you live in today, tomorrow will be somebody else's, because very soon we will have to leave it. So therefore, there is no stake also here. We have created artificial stakes. Therefore, Baba used to say, properties are not properties. But all the time we are protecting. A lot of people don't even leave their homes because they are fearful. They don't lock their homes and go, because they think, somebody will break in and take things away. Who will take what away? Let them take what they have to take. One day Yama will come and take us away also. The god of death will come and take us away. What is there in that? Let whoever, in whose karma what is there to take, let them take what they have to take, because in any case you cannot take anything away with you. So isn't it actually a game of consciousness? Shouldn't we be playing this game also? Why are we heavy about anything? We should just laugh our way. We should make silly jokes on ourselves when we do stupid things. When the mind gets involved and when we start reacting, instead of getting serious about it, we should start laughing at ourselves and say, I got caught. Again, I slipped. And see everything when you see everything lightly, without taking it seriously, there is a joy that steps in. Every time we think we have reached somewhere, consciousness definitely is going to test you. You think you have merged, next minute you will be tested. The minute you think you have achieved something, the next minute be ready that consciousness is going to come and put a test in front of you. And that instantly we get to know how much we have achieved. It's very simple. But if you see it as a game, you will laugh at it and you say, oh my God, how this is so precise. Consciousness is playing a game with all of us, and we are getting serious in it. It was just the whole of creation was created so that we could experience love, we could experience joy. But where are we caught up? We're caught up in all these confabulations, these associations, these stories in our head that we've convinced ourselves that are true. This seriousness that we have brought into this life has thrown the joy away. And if you can learn to live from a moment to moment and just be present in this moment, you can actually celebrate every single moment. And if you can live this moment in joy, and you bring to your awareness that every moment of mine has to be in joy, I can tell you, sorrow will never touch you. Because you choose, you decide what is your state of being. How you want to live your life is entirely in your hands. It does not depend upon your circumstances. Circumstances will keep going. But if you change your way of looking at it, if you start to participate differently, there is always two ways of looking at something. One is to see that everything is being unfair to you. The other way of looking at it is that how you can look at things differently. When your perception changes from the glass half full to a glass half empty, if you keep looking at the glass half empty, then you're always going to look at the negative side of life. But the minute you start looking at the glass half full, there is always a possibility of making your glass full. And it becomes a way of life, it becomes an attitude. And at every turn, consciousness will keep filling your glass further and further, because you are always positive towards life. You are in complete and unconditional acceptance that only you and you exist. If there is joy coming, it's because of what you are vibrating. And if any sorrow is coming, it's because of what you are vibrating on. Because what you deserve is what you get. The consciousness has no favoritism, and the consciousness, does not want anything other than you to experience the higher truth of yourself. And it'll keep bringing in those moments and challenges in your life so that it helps you to recognize it, acknowledge it, accept it, and adapt to it, and grow and evolve till we reach the highest point where we become one with the divine. And this is a journey, and it's a constant journey. It is not that you get onto an airplane and you reach your destination across the world in 36 hours and you are done with it. No, this journey just continues, because that is why it is called an evolutionary plane. And it's so beautiful. And when you see it as a game, it becomes the most enjoyable journey. Pack your bags and move on to distant places. Where are these distant places? It's not outside, it is inside of you. And you see every facet of yourself. You see every facet of your mind. You put light all in these dark corners. All the things that you dislike to do, you start to put light on it. And when you see it closely, it starts to bloom. These are like energetic blocks that one by one, when we start seeing it, and we see them in silence only, and when we put light of awareness on it, everything starts to grow. And it's beautiful. Life becomes so light and such a joy that there is no game like life. And we become skilled players, like Virat Kohli today, celebrating his 35th birthday. He celebrated by scoring a record equaling century. Like this, we have every moment to celebrate this life and to be happy about it. Then we move to the next chapter, which is chapter 27. And this is very beautiful, and it again highlights the role of a guru. And it comes from the Upanishads, which says to remove a thorn by using a thorn. Now, what does it really mean? It means that a guru comes in our life, an external guru with a name and form, and he comes to give a message to us that the guru is a manifestation of the formless consciousness. Satya Sai Baba revealed this truth to us way back in 1940, where he said, I am the manifestation of the formless consciousness, and I have come to tell you that my real truth, my real nature is that I am formless. But to convince you about the true reality of myself, I had to take a form. So Baba took a form only to attract us, to bring us closer, and therefore he used these miracles and charms and trinkets and all sorts of tricks only to so that we could get his attention. And once we were attentive towards him, he revealed the highest truth, where he said, my real nature is not this body. My real nature is not this form. My real nature is that I am the divine consciousness. I am formless. And he says, what is my truth is also your truth. What is my nature is essentially your nature as well. So the formless took a form only to tell us that we all are formless like him. So what does a guru do? The guru comes in our life to tell us that our truth is formless. We hold on to that physicality, we hold on to this physical guru, but the physical guru realizes that after a certain point of time, it is counterproductive to keep holding on to the physicality if the disciple is not getting ready for experiencing the voice within or the guru within. So therefore, he steps out of our life at a time when we are ready. So he uses himself as a tool and to remove the physical aspect of himself from our beingness, from our way of life, and he removes the thorn of a form. So what is a thorn? Thorn is a tool. See, if there is a thorn that gets stuck in our foot, then to remove that thorn which is stuck there, we need another sharp object like a thorn to remove it. But what do? Once both the thorns are in our hand, the one which removed it and the one that got removed, we ultimately have to throw and discard both the thorns. Isn't it? Similarly, the guru with the form has to, at some point of time, he realizes that the form has become a thorn in the flesh of the follower or the disciple. It gets embedded because we keep running after the form. And that physical attraction, the physical touch becomes so important. And when the guru realizes that the time has come for the disciple to now experience the formless consciousness, what does the guru do? The guru removes that physical thorn that is inside and removes it from our flesh out and actually disappears from our life. So first the thorn is implanted, we get attached to the physical form, then the same thorn that gets implanted is removed by the same guru, so that now that we've understood the true nature of the guru operates then from inside of us, and there has to be a detachment from the physical form of the Guru. This is exactly what Satya Sai Baba did to us almost 10 years before the stated time when he said that he will leave his body. What was he trying to do? In the last 10 years, he operated subtly inside our hearts because he realized that if I keep being present in amongst people, they will keep running after him. Because we are so used to the form of the Guru, we keep running after it, we keep asking for boons, favors, trinkets, rewards. We are always asking for external things. And the real thing that we have come here to see, which we have come here to experience, which is the realization of the self, we never take it. So, what did he do? From the external, he became internal. And he removed his own thorn. What was the thorn? It was his physical self. So this thorn has to be removed by a thorn, and both the thorns have to be thrown away. So that what remains only is the divine one consciousness. It is only the pure self, the pure Atman, the pure intellect, the pure light. And that is our goal. And that is our truth. And that is the reason why we are here in this. So use whatever helps you in life, because you remember we are on a journey of evolution. What we used yesterday may not be relevant today. A lot of us are stuck in ancient world. What I mean is, we take the guru's words out of context. Guru keeps saying different things to different people based on different context, right? But what do? We actually hold on to the physical words and think that it will apply at all times. We never realize that the teachings of any master are for a particular context. And when we take the teachings out of context is when we fall into traps. And that is when we become rigid. Where many of us fall into this trap, and it's part of our evolution. When we become rigid about things, those who keep doing every day, same set of things, after a period of time, first it is good for us, then we get caught up in that practice and we become prisoners of that practice. But we don't realize that yes, it was good for a certain time. We need to move on. We need to change. We need to do something different now. Evolution means growing. What you get attached and comfortable to is part of the prison that we keep creating. So we have to be very alert on this journey. And what worked for us yesterday does not necessarily mean that it will work for us today as well. And especially when we are moving forward, when we are taking steps towards higher consciousness, there are new things that we have to adopt, and the old has to be discarded. It is, I would like to tell you how a monkey swings from one tree to another tree. Look at this visual that a monkey is jumping from one branch to another branch. What does it do? It actually, with one left hand, it grabs a branch, okay? And then it swings itself forward. With the other hand, it grabs another branch. And then what does it do? It releases its left hand and it propels itself forward, holds the new branch with the left hand, releases his right hand and move forward, right? The monkey is smart. It realizes that if it was holding two branches in both the hands, it would not move forward, right? But what do as human beings? When we get something in life, when we grab it, we hold on to it, whether it's a relationship. And on the other hand, we get status, position, power, money, relationships, money, wealth, everything. We hold on to it. Now we are stuck. We don't want to empty our hands. We don't want to detach. What happens? We hold to all of them and we keep bringing misery in our life because we are not ready to let go, whether somebody will take it away from us. And knowing fully well, empty-handed we came and empty-handed we'll go. So, and you know how the monkey gets caught finally. If you want to catch a monkey, how do you catch a monkey? You put some peanuts in a small hole, and when the monkey goes, puts his hand, because the hand goes in like this, it is bent, and it goes and picks up the peanuts, and now the fist becomes like this, and it tries to take its fist outside that hole. But what happens? The hand gets stuck inside. The monkey, in its greed, is not able to let go of the peanuts because it is so attached. It is almost tasting those peanuts. But it never realizes that if he has to escape from that hole, then he'll have to empty his hands. So, whenever we hold on to things and close our fists, is when we get stuck in life. And that's when we get caught. But if we let go, then we can quickly, go out and run away and be free. And this is our state. And this is what our journey of life is all about. And this is something.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Wow. Somebody did not get what I was saying. I think it was the Siri. That means even the computer is participating in our conversation. This is very strange. He says, I didn't get it. It's not a monkey, it doesn't associate with monkeys. It's a machine. So therefore it brings us to an awareness where if we understand that life is a game and life is being fed to us from within, because there is the higher consciousness which is guiding us from within, and it's a sense which gets, or a perception that gets developed as we start listening to it, and it gets accentuated when we become silent and withdraw within. As the vairagya comes in, the viveka starts to grow, and we realize that the physicality is an illusion, everything is an illusion, and actually life is a beautiful game which we have come to excel. Then, and that life is in the present moment, and we start living in that awareness, then what truly happens is that we start to be always ready to life, for life, and we are in that state of preparedness where we say yes to life. We're forever looking forward to life. We are not running away from life. We are not anxious about life, but we meet life head on. And there is an enthusiasm in us, there is an excitement in us, and we are not even scared of doing anything because we know it's a game. We know we will evolve into higher consciousness. We know this is the end game. And we stop worrying about the future. We stop worrying about where we need to be. Because remember, we don't have attachment to even results. We are just attached to the action. We just attached to what that present moment is bringing, and we try to do whatever is coming our way skillfully. And even if a problem comes, we know the solution is also attached there. And we attack a problem as well as a celebration, both with great joy, with enthusiasm, with a sense of adventure, like a game. Because we know that in this game, we are not going to take anything away from ourselves. And so therefore, life becomes very light. And we are always in a state of preparedness. Baba asked me one time, will you do all the things I ask you to do? He said, Professor, I have many, 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 many things for you to do. I want you to travel all over the world. I want you to, set up many things. And he said, are you ready? And I said, yes, Swami, I am ready. And I said, Ram kaj karibeko atur. In Hanuman Chalisa, Hanumanji tells Lord Rama that I, as your servant, I am ever ready and willing and enthusiastic and joyous to perform the work given to me by you. Who is Rama? It is the one consciousness. Whose work are we doing? The work of one consciousness. What is this one consciousness? Is love. What is this work? Is to spread this love to everybody. I said, yes, I will. Till the last day that I have breath in this body, I will spread your love to everyone. I am ever ready. I am ever willing. And let this be what we realize is the truth of ourselves. There is a beautiful bhajan that is coming to me where it says, ज्योत से ज्योत जलाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो, राह में आए जो दीन दुखी, राह में आए जो दीन दुखी, सबको गले से लगाते चलो, प्रेम की गंगा बहाते चलो. That from one lamp you can light many lamps. Keep lighting from one lamp, another lamp, and another lamp. This is what is the purpose of life. And as we keep lighting one heart, we are actually lighting the lamp of love in the heart. And slowly, as these hearts are lit with love, it will become a stream of love. It will become a river of love, and it will become a gushing river of love. And the whole purpose of this life is to keep spreading this love, especially those who are unhappy and those who are suffering. And you embrace them in this love. This is what life is about. And this is the joy that comes when you see life as a game and you start saying yes to life, and then you truly realize, as we step into day 29, that happiness is our true nature. At this joy is coming from spreading this love. And that happiness was never with any outward achievement. Happiness had nothing to do with people, relationships. Happiness had nothing to do with status, money, power, position, properties, wealth, and all these accomplishments that we've had in our life. Happiness has nothing to do with any of the external objects. But happiness is our true nature. Happiness is who we are. Happiness is the essential nature of man. Because happiness is the other side of love. Because what is inside of us, when we are in love, we are always happy. Not the love which is full of attachment, but when we can learn to love everybody without being attached to it. And when does the attachment go away? When the physicality is taken out. That pure love, which is beyond physicality, which can be experienced by sitting across the continents. That love, which extends beyond name and form, that brings joy in our heart. Because then we are operating out of our truth. And we experience that this happiness is what we are striving for. All our life, we are actually looking for this happiness, that ananda. which is the goal of life. Because nobody likes to be unhappy. Whenever we are unhappy, we immediately want to come out of it. That's why we go to therapists. That is why we go to healers. That is why we go to gurus, because we are unhappy in life. So actually, we should thank unhappiness, because without unhappiness coming in our lives, we would not be searching for happiness. And if unhappiness was our true nature, then the word unhappiness should not be there. We should have not reacted to being unhappy, but nobody wants to be unhappy. Everybody is always seeking to be happy, and they mistakenly think that either alcohol, drugs, relationships, sex, money, all this is going to give us happiness. But it is all momentary. The real happiness is within us. And unless we seek it inside, if we keep asking for recognition from people outside, if we keep surviving on the crumbs that people throw on us, then we'll never be truly happy. We will never truly experience the power of who we truly are. So, this realization that our essential nature is happiness, and we start, instead of starting to look for things that make us happy, we have to reach that stage where everything that we do, we are happy with that. Instead of what we like to do, we are happy doing that. But what we don't like to do, we become unhappy. It has nothing to do with that object. It's your inner feeling. If I am happy within, everything I will do, I will be happy. I will make everybody else around me happy also. Because I have learned happiness is not coming from what I am doing. Happiness is coming from me. I am providing happiness to things. The day that shifts inside of us, our whole world shifts. Otherwise, we keep running after our likes and dislikes. And we never experience what Shankaracharya ji says in Nirvana Shatakam. Na me dvesha rago, na me moha lobo, mado naiva me neva matsarya bhava. So I am neither a likes nor I am dislikes. Neither I am greed nor I am attachment. So we get to that point when we realize that happiness is not coming from any of this. Happiness is me. I bring happiness to things. I bring joy to things. And therefore, nothing becomes difficult in life, because I'm bringing this light with me everywhere I go. I'm attracting everything because of my happiness. You see, when you go out, or when you are in a crowd, when you go out to eat food, if you are wearing a smile all the time, and if you have a happy countenance, people will get attracted to you. Even a little kid will also recognize and come to you. Why? Because we are vibrating in this joy. We are vibrating in this happiness. Everybody is getting attracted to this. When a person is sitting sadly or has an angry look on the face, anybody comes to that person, nobody wants to even look at that person. But somebody who's happy, we are always attracted, and we say, there is something about this person. There is something calling about that person. The Tej, what we call Teja, the light. The light comes from our joy that we hold in our heart. And it has nothing to do with externality. It has nothing to do with what you're doing in life. You can be happy even in sitting in a slaughterhouse. You can be happy even in a marketplace. You can be happy no matter where you are, because it has nothing to do with your external circumstances. It has to do only with who you are. And even a small kid does not want to be unhappy, because even a small newborn baby, if it is wet, it will start crying and it will ask for attention, and it will want the mother to change its clothes so that it becomes happy. When it is hungry, it will start to cry. So that, and the minute you feed the child, it will stop crying and become happy. So unhappiness is only to get the attention so that we can get back to our real nature, and our real nature is happiness. And those who are unhappy within, they will realize they experience all kind of ailments in their body, one after the other, physical. Remember, I shared this video today morning that the body will release every emotion, everything we hold inside gets stored in the body. And when the release starts happening, also it will get released through the body, because it's the vehicle that we are using. Remember, the energy, our consciousness is using this vehicle, this human body. So everything will get expressed through this body only. So this is how it is. This is where the energy gets stored and blocked. It comes as disease, it comes as all physical ailments and problems. And when the discharge starts happening, it will start discharging through this body as well. What are the discharges of the body? You know it. Perspiration is a discharge. When we get a cold from the nose, we get a discharge. Our spit is a discharge. Vomit is a discharge. Stools are a discharge. Urine is a discharge. This is how the body discharges. And whenever it has to flow through, the energy has to flow through our body. When it gets blocked, it's a disease. And when it flows, it comes as a discharge. It's very simple. There's no complication. It's all energy. Everything is energetic, because that is our true nature. If it is free flowing, we are always happy, because that's our nature. So understand, life is not complex. It is complex for the ignorant, the one who is in ignorance. But once you get the light in you, everything starts to shift for us. So with that, I would like to close today's session. I'd like to thank consciousness for guiding us through all that we know today. It comes from the consciousness, it flows from the consciousness. तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या लागे है मेरा. I am nobody in this. It comes from there. I offer it to you, and I offer all this knowledge back to consciousness, because all of you are none other than manifestations of this consciousness. So the knowledge comes from consciousness. I offer it to you as embodiments of this consciousness, and through you it goes back into the consciousness. So nothing is mine. I don't hold on to anything. I don't take anything. I just receive and I give. And I've learned in life that the principle is give and you shall get. So thank you so much. Gratitude to all of you for being present, and gratitude to this abundant consciousness. Samast loka sukhino bhavantu. Samast loka sukhino bhavantu. Samast loka sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.